It's the end of a Wild Horizons Elephant Back Safari. The guests have just had an unforgettable experience with one of the most gracious and intelligent animals known to man, the African elephant. These elephants are all orphans that have been hand-reared and are part of an education and conservation program that has developed with the introduction of elephant back safaris by Wild Horizons in 1994. In between safaris, the elephants have time off, allowing them to feed naturally through the bush, visit various waterholes, interact with other wild game, and just be elephants for a while. During this time, they are free to roam and, if so desire, leave the unfenced property. The following video shows briefly how, through the introduction of such safaris, conservation, education and tourism can work successfully together without exploiting either the elephants or their environment. It's early morning school for the elephants, an important part of their training. But there is one elephant who is too young to join in these training sessions, and that is Rastus. Rastus was found roaming in the bush, abandoned by his mother 70 kilometers southeast of Victoria Falls. Believed to be between 4 and 6 weeks old, he was brought to Wild Horizons, hoping that he could be successfully reared amongst the other elephants. The success rate of raising a baby elephant is extremely low. The biggest problem is replacing the low-fat milk, vitamins and minerals they would normally receive from their mother.
Up to 3 weeks, they only have partial use of their limbs, coordination.
Wild Horizons talked to various people throughout Africa who had experience in raising baby elephants, each one suggesting a different formula. Armed with this information, Wild Horizons put together their own formula, which seems to be working with no complaints from Rastus. Rastus will drink approximately 50 litres of milk formula a day, in addition to water and foliage consumed. It is a 24-hour job looking after a baby elephant, ensuring they are fed every 2 hours and have constant companionship. Every morning, Rastus goes for a walk with Shailene and the other pets. In the afternoon, he spends time swimming at the waterhole. All this exercise is very important for a baby elephant's development. Rastus is growing and has integrated well into the herd, with Miss Ellie keeping a watchful eye out for him. And not wanting to miss out on anything, he now joins the resident herd on their morning walks. Rastus is not the only youngster to have joined the older elephants at the elephant camp. Wild Horizons actively encourages, through their educational program, school trips to the camp, where the children can meet and learn more about these huge animals. This is no trip to a zoo, it's real Africa, and sadly in the wild you come across wild animals that have been injured or abandoned, sometimes due to the increase in human encroachment. Recently, a wild elephant was found by a waterhole with a badly infected leg due to it being caught in a poacher's snare. Abandoned and unable to walk, this young elephant was in severe distress. Miss Ellie, Jack, Jumbo and Jock were brought to the elephant, which was clearly relieved to have fellow elephants around. The following morning, they walked together slowly towards the camp, eating as they went along. The interaction between these intelligent animals is truly amazing to see. It was as if the older elephants knew what was happening, and they were there to reassure the young elephant whose future was in the balance. At a suitable location, the young elephant was darted with a strong anesthetic. The injured elephant was then taken to Wild Horizons camp, where they could take a closer look at the injury and administer medical treatment under the guidance of a qualified vet.
Have we got the scalpel yet?
It's a long-lasting antibiotic called Trisol. We're going to give 3 bottles for an animal this size. This will actually last for about 7 days. So we're just going to give it intramuscularly.
Two hours later, the elephant was back on its feet, sore from the cleaning up of the infected leg. His chances of survival still remain in the balance. This is not the first time Wild Horizons have rescued an abandoned wild elephant. Back in August 2000, a young male was found with a badly injured leg, again from a poacher snare. The elephant's leg was cleaned every day and it received regular checkups by vets who administered antibiotics. Later named Mashaba, this elephant has happily joined the resident herd on walks and roams the bush eating and drinking during the day. Seeing Mashaba recover from his serious injury, the children's reactions to touching and feeding a real African elephant, the guests' enjoyment of the elephant-back safaris, and Rastus growing stronger by the day, highlights just how well tourism and conservation can work closely together with great success. The change from the lawlessness of childhood through to the responsibility of adulthood must be a gradual adjustment. As important as the baby bottle of milk formula is for the infant, so is the introduction for the social structure with all its disciplines and survival techniques to the adolescent. These are no different to those that we know and include love, kinship, trust, discipline, sibling rivalry, procreation, dominance, and friendship. Wild Horizons believes that the yearning to pass this information on is as great as the need to know it. This, and the shared desire of motherhood, explains the overload of emotions displayed by the females on their introduction to Rastus and Malasha. As orphans themselves, perhaps they are even more aware that these youngsters experience the natural upbringing within a matriarchal system. Perhaps some of the girls are not as maternal as we would imagine. Will some be good mothers and some not? The introduction of Malasha certainly showed that Lundi and Tendai are far more attentive than the others. After all, aren't herds just made up with individuals with individual likes and dislikes? It is imperative that as surrogate herd members with the management capabilities, we are sensitive to all issues and wherever possible provide any ingredients missing to ensure a natural lifestyle is possible. It is imperative that those working with the elephant gain acceptance as dominant but caring herd members. This sometimes has to be done with care. With Rastus being introduced to the daily routine of herd life, Mashaba approaching his teenage years, and Malasha taking full advantage of his infant stage, the Wild Horizons elephant herd has a very natural look about it. final peace will be in place when and if Jane and Emily, who were mated by a wild elephant bull, give birth. Is the ultimate plan to release them back into the wild? The answer is no. What would the reason be? Why would they yearn for another lifestyle when all they need is supplied? They have been orphaned once, and we have no intention of inflicting that upon them again.